Hello and welcome to AMZ TV House. It's your girl Ameze back on your screen, and thank you all so much for tuning in and being a part of my live stream. I am always thankful. I'm always happy, and I am always overjoyed when people show me support and encouragement. And I'm so excited because there are a whole lot of things that are going to be taking place, not only here on AMZ TV House, but also on my Instagram page. I'm as a superstar. For those of you who already know, I have a group of close friends, my co-hosts or co-presenters. That's what I call them. And some of them are not very comfortable because they think that going on camera can be intimidating. Well, yes, but then you have me holding your hand, so don't worry about it. But that's just a term of endearment, being my co-host, my co-presenter, when you're in my inner circle. So thank you again for coming on. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, my name is Ameze. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for, just tuning in and being a part of this live broadcast today. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, like my videos, share it. Please feel free to share my videos, and make sure you also click the notification bell so that anytime I upload my video, you're usually always the first to know. There are a lot of things taking place, but if you're not here, then how are you going to know? You just have to keep coming back. Click the notification bell. I can't get my words out today. And you will see, but we're packaging some things. There's a new series that I'm starting, and I already have my friends that are really supporting me in this. So we're going to be sharing our stories, including mine. And it's just a way to support women like me, okay? Which one of the things I'm going to be talking about today, this is a trending topic. We cannot say enough about it. Last week, I had talked about it. It's about domestic violence. But before I move on, I just want to appreciate some people who have been waiting patiently. Master Scribe's House, thank you so much. You have been always in my corner. I hope to meet you one day. I know you wrote to me a question, which I will actually talk about here on this episode today, and but I have to give you a shout out. Another person I'll be giving a shout out to is Boyega Richard. Hello, my darling. Thank you. Yes, it's good to see you again. Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. Please, when you come on, just press the thumbs up button. That also helps me, shows that you like my video. It's part of your support for me. So today, just before I came on, there was a story which is trending, and I'm sure it's going to snowball as the weeks roll by. This is really, really sad. This thing happened in the United States, Houston, Texas, to be precise. There's a medical doctor who killed, so it was a double homicide, homicide, suicide, homicide. He killed his wife, who's a nurse, and then he turned the gun on himself and also killed himself. And they have 3 children. This is so sad. This is so sad. And, domestic violence is real. It's painful to talk about, especially for those going through it. But the thing I really want to buttress here is that people should know, when you suspect domestic violence and 1 or 2 of them are talking to you, please don't bury your head in the sand. Because what a lot of people do, especially in our community, not only just the African or Nigerian community, but even here in the United States, it's people don't want to butt into people's marriages. And I get that, because Two is company, three is a crowd. I totally get that. But one thing I also know is that when people are crying for help, whatever it is you can do, if it's just to listen to them so they can vent, it goes a long way. Last week, I also came on here and talked about domestic violence. And I remember I titled that episode, Leave Before He Kills You. Isn't it interesting, or the irony of that is I said it was an episode last week, and then this week, totally unrelated people, unrelated stories. And this medical doctor killed his wife, and then he killed himself. This is what happens. I can tell you right now, this story didn't start here. It's been going on. I want to also welcome Belumi Adebola. Thank you so much. I love you. Thumbs up. Thank you for your thumbs up. Love to you. Abiayua Monday. I totally love you. This is one of my lovelies. How are you, my darling? I see you. Thank you for coming on and supporting me. Abiayua actually will be coming on next week with me. She's one of my co-hosts. So you'll be seeing her and we'll be hearing her story. And there's so many stories out there. And I have thrown this out to people listening to me, watching me. If you have a story to tell, don't keep it to yourself. It goes a long way to help somebody else. Many people, not just one, but even if it's just the one person you help, it goes a long way. I have stories to share. I have personal experiences. I have been in bad situations. I have been in bad relationships. And sometimes it's really tough, especially when you don't have people supporting you. When everyone around you thinks that what you should do is... There's a call coming in. I don't know who this is, but I cannot take this call. So when you think that, when people around you they shame you. Does that make sense? Because it's a man's world, like everybody says. But people think that you have to bear it, grin and bear it. It doesn't matter. Just grin and bear it. That is a shame, because what usually ends up is one or two or all the family dies because someone cannot bear it anymore. And what happens is they explode, they snap. So last week, the reason what made me come out here and also on my Instagram page and talked about domestic violence is the fact that there was a viral video, and I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Now, she's a medical doctor. It's interesting, another medical doctor, but this time she is the one being abused by the husband. And then she went, in front of the camera and gave us a synopsis of what she's been going on. And I can tell you that was just a snapshot, because I know it's probably worse than what she shared with us. And to my surprise, well, I shouldn't really say it's a surprise, because this is what our society does. Now, this is in Nigeria. And I know that in that society, women are shamed or victimized when they speak out. Other women even shut them down. Yes, other women like you will shut you down. And that's always bothered me, when the people who should support you, or at least come to your aid, or at least give you ear for what you're talking about, they are the same people who will shut you down. The general belief is that, is he providing for your kids? Look, it's not easy to be in a marriage. There's no marriage that is perfect. You just have to grin and bear it. You have to just try and make it work. It takes two to tangle. I need you people to understand that. It's not the woman's job to make the marriage work. The man has his part. A woman has a part. I think it's very unfair to make and put all the blame on the woman and think the woman is the superhero that should fix everything in the marriage. Now, according to this medical doctor in Nigeria, the lady that came out in the viral video, she said he's a womanizer. He beats her. I remember one of the things she said was he sat down on her while she was pregnant. And then even shortly after having the baby, 4 weeks after having a baby, she had a C-section. So she still got sutures. For those of you who've had babies that way, that she had sutures. I've had a baby that way, and it can be painful. And he sat on those sutures. A man who does that is ready to kill you. Now, does he mean to kill you? Is he like premeditated? I cannot speak to that. All I know is even if it's not premeditated, he's taking risks that can result in your death. And he's going to cry because guess what? He probably didn't mean for you to die. But then when he's taking risks like that and playing with your health, well, there's the probability that you might die. See, that's what I'm trying to let people know. And I know also there are men out there who are being abused. Say, for instance, this case that just came up. The case I talked to you about, the one in Houston. People snap. It's possible the woman is the abuser. You need to understand this. It goes both ways, but statistics have shown that a large population of women are the victims. I don't know why that is. Is it that because it's a double standard for men? Men do not speak out? It's possible. All I'm saying is, whether it's a man or a woman, people need to stop burying their heads in the sand in the name of religion. People go to their pastors, complain to their pastors, and what they tell them is they put a band-aid on this gigantic wound, which is the abuse, and send them home. Don't worry, there'll be counseling. Sometimes it's not working. There's more to it than that. It could just be the abuser needs more than just talk. They need medication. They need some kind of therapy. They need some behavioral change. I understand prayers, but then prayers without work is dead. You also need to step out in faith. People need to understand and just stop pretending. And that's what gets to me, when people pretend. At this time, I'm also just going to take time out to appreciate people that are here with me. Thank you all so much. And also to take some of the questions. You know what? I have to put my glasses on and pretend that I can read this thing without glasses. Okay. Boy Guy Richard say, it's so disheartening that she still went back to him. I know. It's unbelievable. She went back to him because I believe they pressured her. Her pastors would have pressured her. Her mom, her parents would have pressured her. Her siblings would have pressured her. Her friends would have pressured her. Oh, are you going to leave those kids? Who's going to take care of the kids? Look, men are like that. It doesn't matter where you go to. They're always going to abuse you. That's not true. That's not true. There are men who walk away from situations. I mean, I've been in situations where I'm not perfect, where I know, you're being annoying, and the man just walks away instead of hitting you. And I know there are women who would agree with me. And there's situations too where I've been really upset by someone who's dear to me, a man, and I also walked away. I didn't throw my shoes at him. I didn't throw knives at him. I didn't throw books at him. Walk away. Now, for those people who cannot walk away, it's possible that they have a problem. We also need to look at that. So I'm not being one-sided. For those of you who are so quick to label someone as being one-sided, I'm not being one-sided. I do know. I have friends that actually have been abused by their wives. I know. Close friends of mine. And they've walked away. And they've called me on the phone sometimes like they can't take it anymore. And my thing is, I'm not going to break you up. But if you love this person enough, try and seek some kind of medical help, psychiatric help. And they've gone on to do that. Some got better and some did not. And they separated. My brother and sister, marriage is not by force. Let me speak in my Nigerian pidgin. It's not by force to stay married, though. All those women that will shame other women, younger women, into being in a marriage that might eventually take their lives. Shame on you. This is really something that we need to take seriously. People are dying. People are dying. Let me take some other questions here. I honestly feel bad. This is from Abiayua Monday. She says, I honestly feel bad for the women in Africa. No help at all for them. That is true. I think people are starting to change. I think also with social media is starting to change people. It's starting to make people aware that, like the case of that doctor who went on social media, that was a cry for help. That's something like way back when, say maybe 20 years ago, even 15, 10 years ago, she probably would not have. But now with social media, it's easy. It's easier. It's a cry for help. People need to understand that. By the time she went to social media and showed her scars and showed her injury, that was a cry for help. That's a cry for people to like, hey, please help me. I am drowning. This thing is way above me. I need your help. So what people should have done, those that are close to her, and now there are those that went close to her, everybody started shaming her. Shame on those who shamed her. Because I tell people this, if you've not walked in my shoes, you can't tell me how to feel. Let me repeat that for those who need to hear it again. If you haven't walked in my shoes, please do not tell me how to feel. You don't know my pain. All that glitters is not gold. Abiayua says abusers never change, and that is true. That is mostly true. I guess some have stories where they've been delivered or they've had the medical help that they need, but oftentimes they don't change. They do not change. Abiayua agrees with me. Pressure from the family, most especially, and that is what is sad. Because when this person, or if this person then dies, those same people that were shaming them and pressurizing them to stay in a volatile situation, they start to cry. But they will still chop on top of your head, though. They will still chop goats on top of your head. They will drink pepper soup on top of your head. They will drink. Because when people die now, what do? After burial and everything, they will still provide food for people. So this is what they will chop. So sometimes this brings me to thinking, you need to know who's in your corner, because not everyone who smiles at you or smiles with you is in your corner. There are such things as unfriendly friends or wolves in sheep's clothing. They probably are jealous of you. And so when you complain to them, in their mind, it's either it makes them feel better because they are in worse situations, or they envy you. They want to be in your position. Let me tell you this. I'm going to start taking questions soon from my phone because some people wrote to me in my email. Let me quickly take this. One of the things somebody said is, this person isn't married. And so her name is Jay. She just put Jay there. This is from my email. She said, everybody says, no, I have married friends and they tell me it's not easy. They would rather be single and, instead of stay in an abusive relationship. And she said, well, I'll rather be married. I don't mind. Let me be married. Yes, I will take the beating too, but I just want to be married. Okay, that's funny because I can tell you right now, no, I don't know how many married women will be telling you they'd rather be single, or how many married men would tell you they'd rather be single. That's not true. Okay, I've been both. Okay, marriage is good. If you have a good marriage, it is good. A bad marriage is bad. And maybe those are the ones telling you they'd rather be single. If you have a bad marriage, you don't want to be there. It's painful. It's like any relationship. You just need to know when enough is enough. A lot of people think, and this is the thing, sometimes they shame the woman who stays in an abusive relationship. There's a reason why women stay in abusive relationship, and these are my thoughts. She has no money, so she's being bullied. Yeah, that can be devastating when you don't have financial power and then you have children and the man is your source of income. It's tough. And that's why it's one of the things I'm going to be talking about. If you start to follow me on this channel and also on my Instagram program, it's called Breaking Limits. And it's an empowerment series for women. I'm going to be inviting friends, my lovelies. I have my co-presenters who will be sharing their stories. And if you want your story, if you believe you have a story and you want to share it, please, please, please come on board. There are so many women out there who are in an abusive relationship for whatever reason, or have experienced it before. Your story helps. And there are men who also have been in those situations. Your stories help. I'm not trying to undermine men or dismiss their claim. There's nothing funny about being abused. I actually feel sorry for men because it's a double standard. A lot of men who come out and talk about being abused are ridiculed because everyone thinks, wait till they do you. Woman go, they beat you. It happens. Sometimes you need to understand it's not actually the woman beating him because he can't beat the woman. He's refusing to. Now, to me, that's a man. So for those of you who are quick to judge men like that, now that's a man. He will not beat that woman because he can, but he does not believe in violence. So he will not be beating that woman. He knows she needs help. He loves her enough to want to find help for her. So, again, if you're just joining my channel, this is AMZ TV House. My name is Ameze. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, just coming on and supporting me. It goes a long way. It really, really does. So when I have this support, I can go ahead and keep making these videos. So to link, and I'm going to try to do this without again, I try to stay objective. I have my own opinions, as you do, but this is my show, so I'm going to express my opinion. I invite you to share your own opinions too with me here on this platform or in my Instagram. So, with the guy, this couple in Houston, USA, here in America, we don't know what started. We don't know who was being abused. Is it possible that the woman has been the abusive one? Just kept on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And the man just could not tell anyone. And even if he did, people ridiculed him. Or is it just the man that also feels like, oh my goodness, I'm drowning. Yes, I'm a medical doctor, but financially we're drowning. We're taking on more than we can chew. And that happens too. There's so many things that drives this situation. So I want to talk about it. If you're here, thank you so much for the thumbs up. Thank you for clicking the thumbs up button. That's your like button. And also for clicking the notification bell, because that always tells you when I come on here. So, thank you, Abia. This is one, there are certain people that always support me. Abia is one of them. I call her Abias. Beautiful lady in Paris, Mon chéri, or Ma chérie. I know she's going to be teaching me French. You're all going to be seeing her soon because she's one of my co-hosts who wants to share her story. And there are others, but, very soon enough, you're going to hear this young woman's story. And it's one of the story that a lot of us can appreciate or identify with because it happens. It happens in most societies, and especially in the society or the community that we come from. You know, I cannot say this only happens in Nigeria, but I can tell you it happens where a certain sector of people are not appreciated, and later on in life, well, they start to benefit from, you know, the generosity of your heart, of your person. So we're going to be talking with Abiyawa. I love you. I love you so much. Melumi, thank you so much. I mean, Boyega Richard, it's so interesting. So let me start taking questions. It's good to see you here, Boyega. That's another supporter of mine. So one of the questions from a friend of mine, a lady by Miss Cookie, Loretta. So I did say I was going to treat this question today, and she said, so what are the signs women or men are missing, not seen in their partner who is abusive? So what are the signs? What are the signs one should look out for? What is it? What is it that people ma chérie, ma chérie, je t'aime, très, très, je t'aime. I'm really trying. That's one language I've always wanted to speak. I know I digress a bit. I'm talking to Abiyawa, my friend here, and I love French, and Francais was a language that very early on I took an interest in, and I've lost some of them. But anyway, Abiyawa will be teaching me. So this is from Loretta. And she said, what are those signs? What could be those signs that men or women are missing? You know, she said, I hear some people don't know when they are in an abusive relationship because they become victims of domestic violence. I'm going to take this because it's in two parts. What are the signs? What are the signs, people? What are those signs that are there, that are red flags? What should one be looking for? Now, I will tell you now, one size doesn't fit all. Not everyone, there are different types of abuse. Not all are physical. You need to understand that. Not all are physical. Just ignoring someone, you know, guilt, making them feel guilty all the time, where they always have to be the ones to hunker after you, meaning they're trying to please you. That's a type of abuse. That's emotional. There's verbal. Some people, no matter what, they will always put you down. They will abuse you. Abuse is so funny when I use the word abuse. Here in America, when you say abuse, it means it's much more than cursing, you know, like when you curse people, you know, in the other parts of the world, when you say, oh, you abuse someone, it just means it's verbal. In America, you have to be able to differentiate what type of abuse, you know. Abiyawa, you keep making me digress. I'm trying to. I am. I like French a lot. I like that language. So I do try. I do. It's beautiful. And you know, when I come to France, I'm staying with you. We already settled that. Anyway. So Loretta, you were asking for signs. So for those of you on here, what are the signs? What is it that people don't see? Because I would tell you also, depends culturally. There's certain things that people experience, but they think is normal. So it depends on where you grow up. Now, one of the things I mentioned, I think it was on my Instagram and also on that video from last week. Please try and watch that video. The title is Leave Before He Kills You. People need to understand, especially for those raising young men, you know, little boys become men. And if he's growing up in a volatile situation where his father, beats his mother, he's going to think that's okay. He's probably going to grow up that way. So people need to understand a man isn't born a man, he's born a woman. However, please understand me here. Because I think I remember when the viral video of the medical doctor, the female, the girl, the lady, reported her husband, the video that went viral, I think it was all of last week, about 2 weeks ago, and part of last week. A lady came out. I'm not sure now if she's a governor's wife, but some lady in government. And she has said, women should raise better sons. Now I understand that women will have a role to play for those raising children, men, future men, but I don't think it's fair to put the blame on women. Sometimes it is nature. So it can be nurture and nature. Okay, but just to quickly answer this question, because that's something I'm going to expatiate on. There are signs that, so if a girl grows up in a home where the father beats her mother, she's going to think it's okay when the man starts to beat her. She actually wants that because she expects it, because to her, that's a sign of love. So a girl or a female who is in a relationship where the man slaps her around once in a while is not thinking that she's been abused. She's thinking that, oh, well, that's how it should be. Because I have people who've told me that they were in an abusive relationship. They didn't know until that relationship ended, and they were in a different one, and this one didn't hit them, and they didn't understand it. And they had to go to therapy. For them, this is actually someone who wrote to me. They had to go to therapy to realize that, oh, being slapped around once in a while is not just sex games. It's abuse. It wasn't just because some people, again, we can go into BDSM. There are people who like that type of life. That's not what we're talking about. So people should get it straight, because sometimes people go off on a tangent. We're not talking about BDSM. We are talking about people who hurt people, and it makes the people around them sad. They hurt their children, they hurt their wives, and then they go on to their children, and it gets to be too much. And before you know what's happening, they kill them. And then they kill themselves. I was just telling you about the situation in Houston. The doctor, this medical doctor who's a man, well respected, he lives in Sugar Land. For those of you who know Sugar Land in Houston, Texas, that is a very expensive place to live. That's very highbrow. So people looking in, looking from the outside, inwards, think, I mean, they have everything in the world. He's a medical doctor. She's a nurse. They've got 3 beautiful children. Their picture, I don't know, maybe when I go ahead, because I might treat this again, maybe I'll put their picture up. But right now I'm not able to, because again, it's kind of techie, but I might put it up later. 3 wonderful, beautiful children. Now tell me, how are those children going to grow now? They must have been witnessing abuse. And then it culminated in the death of both their parents. So again, that is a unit right there who's going to go on to become adults, and they become abusive adults, and the vicious cycle just repeats itself. Thank you, Nuella Oseni. Thank you. I remember you. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much. I see you. I always tell people, I see you. I see those who support me. I do. Thank you. And for those of you here, and those of you watching me, and those that are probably going to be watching later, this is AMZ TV House, and we are here talking about domestic violence. Is your wonderful host, Ameze, Miss Ameze, as Noella called me, Madam Ameze. Thank you guys for coming. It's domestic violence, and it's actually touching me. Now, I'll tell you one of the reasons why it's touching me. Now, when you look at me, and I'm going to use myself as an example. Hello, Esther, my lovely. She says such things happen in Spain. Esther lives in Spain. Esther, I know it's everywhere in the world. Women get victimized. Children get victimized, and no one says anything because they're just thinking, well, marriage is tough and you just got to bear it and make it better. And they pile on the woman. Those are evil people. I'm ready to tell you now. Those are evil people. I was just saying now, look at me. Now, when you're being abused, you don't necessarily carry scars. There are different types of abuse: financial abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Physical is the one that, of course, the physical one is the one people see. Sexual abuse, all those things there. And women and children are the victims. Hear me here. I have male friends. I shared that before. For those of you who have ears, please listen, because this irritates me. I'm just going to ignore you anyway, if anyone even comes to me sideways, because I'm going to ignore you because I'm trying to make my point. Men do get abused. Don't get me wrong. There are men, I know personal friends, males, men, big hulking men over 6 foot or 6 feet that get abused. Okay, let's get that out of the way. However, statistics have proven that women and children usually are more of the victims. Okay, so the second part of Loretta's question was, she said, I hear some people don't know when they're in an abusive relationship, which I've actually started to talk about, because they probably grew up that way. So take, for instance, there's 3 children left behind by this doctor and this nurse, doing very well, living very well, and now they're both dead. How do you think those children are going to grow up? I mean, what kind of lives do you think they're going to have? How they have 2 sons and a daughter. First of all, the girl is probably going to think it's okay. She doesn't expect better. You know, they need therapy, for one, to make them start thinking right again. So it's not only the grief, but then again, the violence lives on in them. Another thing that people don't think about, sometimes people experience such big violence that it changes their sexual orientation. Again, if you don't know this, do research. It's been known to happen. I also have friends that way. There are girls who, again, kids grow up to be adults. I wasn't born this way. So nurture and nature has shaped me, and it's the same for everyone. It's not only me. And there are people who, because they have been abused, I know females that just, and you know, when I tell you guys, I've been doing my research, I've been talking to people, and that's why I want to start this series. One of the people that wrote to me, actually, I'm going to pick this one because I'll be doing this as time goes on. Please be a part of the Breaking Limits with Ameze. It's going to be on Instagram Live and also on YouTube Live. Again, some of you like to write to me directly, and that's fine. amezesuperstar@gmail.com. Let me quickly pick up this email. Okay, thank you. I started because I started some of the question I was gonna, and this is from Tanya. Tanya says that she's gay. She's an American. She is an American, actually by way of, she's from Sierra Leone, but she's been here. So she's an American Sierra Leonean. And she said she is homosexual today because she witnessed her dad abuse the mother. And she just hates men. She grew up hating men. So that's Tanya. So for those of you who think that that can happen. Hello, Bess Davis. Hi, thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Bess here is always supporting me. For those of you who don't know Bess, he's a wonderful Nollywood actor who he and I have been in movies together. And we've also actually, he's one of my co-hosts. He's hosted with me here on this channel. His channel is Bess Davis Show. For those of you coming on, if you have a channel on YouTube, let me know. Okay, but Bess Davis is a supporter. He's our friend. Okay, he's our friend. So again, as all of you are. So thank you so much. It's so cold out there. It's snowing here. Well, it stopped a little bit, but there are little flecks of snow. So I'm wearing my sweater. Do you like my sweater? So another question I'm going to be taking is, okay, here's one, another one I starred. This is from, okay, he calls himself Junior King. Okay, Junior King also is telling me here. This one is from Kenya. Oh my God, Junior King, thank you. King Jr. What am I reading? I'm probably hungry. King Jr. He's all the way from Kenya. And he actually, oh my goodness, oh my God. Junior King, King Jr. Thank you so much. He actually listened to my podcast because I have a podcast, I'm as alive. And that was where he said it was played, he played it, and then he found his way to, oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, King Jr. He said he's homosexual because, oh wow, he grew up in a volatile situation. Both his parents drank. The father and his mother were abusive to each other. Eventually, the father went to jail, and the mom, because the mom was shot. People, this is serious. This is really serious. You know, there's nothing funny about domestic abuse. So, yeah, that just touched me there. You know, there's some I read them initially and I didn't reread them again, but just seeing it now, you know, you need to be careful when you're judging people. I don't judge people. And I hope that you don't too, because you don't create anyone. Okay, there's only one creator, and that's the Almighty God. We are all here by his mercies, okay, because it's pleased him to put us here. People need to be careful, you know, when you abuse others, it has lifelong ramifications. We need to understand that it does. You see people that don't share your beliefs, people who don't share your I know, Esther, it's so sad. It's so sad. There's so many of them here, and as time goes on, these are things I'm going to share because some of them are going to come on and personally talk about their stories. And I cannot wait because, again, when people hear things like this, I've realized sometimes people are scared of things they don't know. It's just like being racist. A white man is scared of a black man because a black man scares him. He doesn't know much about the black man to appreciate him. I'm going to flip that around. Again, you can't really use racist for a minority group, but I can understand a black person or a black man hating another white man just because he doesn't know him well enough to be able to appreciate the good things about him. You know, so it's the same thing. Some people say, oh, my faith forbids me to love gay people. Well, if it's the same faith, I don't know if it's the same faith that I have. Well, my faith says to love people, to love everyone. In fact, in my faith, it says that you should love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. So if you do that, I don't think we're going to have a problem. Bess Davis says, I think that law should be passed that allows death penalty on those who abuse their partners. I'm telling you, people, you know what, Bess? Hold that thought there. I'm not one to be quick to go to the death thing, but it has to stop. It has to stop, people. People are dying. Children are dying. Women are dying. The one in Houston now, there must have been somewhere where it got to the point where someone becomes so angry or so, what's the word? So they feel so helpless that they think the way out is to kill themselves. People, we need to wake up. Pastors. And this is what irritates me. Those who say, oh, I'm a Christian. And then you know things are going bad. And then you still shame the woman or you shame the man and just send them home and say, hey, look, it's not easy for anyone. Just because you're going through nonsense and violence or some kind of, I don't know, sad thing in your relationship, it doesn't mean you have to also make other people suffer. People should really say the truth. Those mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, sister-in-laws, brothers-in-laws, say the truth. Say the truth. Don't send people back to violent situations. Our society does it so well. People run to church. People run to people that they see as elders, as mentors. And all they'll tell them is, my dear, it rains everywhere. It's not, you think it's easy? I've been with this man for so years. You think it's easy? I've been with this woman. You know how women talk. And then when they're there, they're like, oh, had I known. You need to stop. And I'm starting to agree with Best here. He says, I'm sure that when there's extreme laws, that nonsense will stop. Yes, when you think about taking lives, when you think about it, you're going to pause. But we also mustn't forget there are people who have mental illness. Like, I'm going back to that viral video of the medical doctor in Nigeria. That was a cry for help. That was a cry for help. When she went on social media, showed her face, she had had enough, and she was crying for help. And what happened? They used her and her husband as photo op, probably by someone who doesn't even know them. But it just looks good to say, I put them back together. It's like you're sweeping things under a rug that's no longer flat. There's a gaping wound and you just slap a Band-Aid, or in other parts of the world, we say plaster. You slap it on it and you think it's going to be okay. These people are asking for help. It's like the man beat his wife. Look, I'm not the only one who feels this way, but everyone thinks that doctor, her life is in danger. And I do too. I feel her life is in danger. When, God forbid, if she dies, if anything happens to her, all those people that put them together, the governor, local government chairman, the pastor, all those people, you're all guilty. You're all culpable. You're all culprits. You send the woman to her death. If, God forbid, something happens and it's a double murder, you send them to their deaths. If anything happens that affects their children, you kill their family. People need to know that. People need to be aware that usually by the time someone speaks up, they've been going through a lot. And you need to understand, not everyone bears a mark. There are people who look pretty. I was asking you guys earlier. I said, you look at me, I've got the wig on, I've got the makeup, glasses, laughing. You don't know what I'm going through. And I've been in situations like that where people see me, they don't know what I'm going through. I mean, my heels are this high, because again, you have to find a way to cope with your sadness. A bad relationship is a bad relationship. A bad marriage is worse. Okay. Breaking limits. Please, for those of you here and those of you watching me, because some of you are just, I'm going to say this because a friend of mine keeps using it. Some of you are just monitoring spirits. You're not you're not texting, you're not putting your comments, but I know you're watching those monetary spirits. I know you are. But the truth of the matter is abusive relationship, there's nothing funny about it. Boyega says it's often so hard to decipher a man who may end up being abusive. However, I think to be put in person However, I think women should look out for traits like jealousy. Okay, thank you, Mr. Boyega Richards. Because I'm like, guys, we need to know, what are those signs? Loretta asked a question. What are those signs? What are the red flags? What are the red flags that people should look out for and know that they are being abused? Thank you, Boyega. Boyega say some of the signs are jealousy. Jealousy that becomes so territorial, they're so possessive of you, irrational jealousy, things that is not enough. Jealousy just tells you insecurity. Now, we all feel jealous, don't get me wrong. I'm not ready to share my man with anyone. And I'm sure you're not ready to share your woman with anyone. That's healthy. Okay, that's just respecting a relationship and not crossing the line. You know, when you commit or you are in a committed relationship, so you know, that's different from the jealousy of timing someone. They go to the supermarket and you think they should be home in 15 minutes. They come 16 minutes or 20 minutes. It's problem. Again, I know what I'm talking about. I've been in a relationship like that where they're timing you. That's no longer cute. That's going to a different, that's crossing the line. Threats, being easily offended, forceful destruction of objects. Those are signs. Thank you, Boyega. That is lovely. People threaten you. If you do this, I will kill you. People go as far as saying, I will kill your children. And that's what I was trying to say earlier on. Sometimes we need to, not sometimes, a lot of times when women stay with an abusive or an abuser, they're scared. They're there because they have been threatened. Boyega, thank you for bringing this up. They have been threatened. You know, they have been threatened. They've been threats made on their own lives or their children's lives. They have children or their parents or their family. Threats, you know. You also find one of the signs also is being easily offended. They just take offense because and then you find yourself being the one begging them to stay in the relationship. Okay, if you have to continuously beg to be in a relationship, he's not that into you, or she's not that into you. That's a power trip. It's a two-way thing, you know. I mean, if you know you're wrong and you beg, that's fine. And he knows he's wrong and he begs, that's cool. But when you find it's kind of lopsided, oh, you put this water here, and then for the whole day he's not talking to you, or he's angry and he takes it out on the kids, or he starts to break things. Those are signs. Those are red flags. I remember one relationship I was in, and clearly, I mean, I ran. You know, for those who grew in Nigeria, or maybe a certain age, there's such, when you say you run 440, 440, or Ben Johnson dash. I remember that. It means you run. And I do remember he would smash things when he gets angry. He would smash things and I would cry. I'm thinking, why is he smashing things? I know he loved me because I loved him, but he would smash things. And then one day, from smashing things, this is how it's going to escalate. I turned one day and we were watching a movie. Oh my God, this is crazy. And I think I said something like, maybe I admired something the person did. It was a man on TV. And this person turned, and I turned from the corner of my eye. I caught it, his hand, and I ducked, and he smashed the wardrobe, you know, or closet. And and his fist went in. Can you imagine if that had hit me? Again, I've got stories. And that's why this breaking limits is something that is so dear to me. I want to share. I'm in that place now where I also want to impact not only knowledge, but confidence to not women, my peers, but even younger people coming up. I have a daughter and I want to empower women. I do. And also educate men. Not all men are bad. I have men here now texting, being on this forum, and they are against, best is a man, and he is advocating for the death penalty for men who abuse their partners because he cannot imagine it. So there are men who feel very, very bad. Boyega is a man, he's saying the same thing. You know, let me pick this up. Esther says, in my opinion, people who abuse others or put people permanently so that they can't abuse anymore, and that will serve as reference to others. Okay, they should be put in jail or something. True. Obsessive, another sign. Thank you, Esther, my lovely Esther. Thank you. Said obsessive all the time can be sign to being controlling. My brothers, my sisters, me where they talk to now. Not be today. Oh. I've been in situations like that where when it first starts, you think the person loves you. Eh. That kind of love, it will cost you. It's too painful. That kind of love is too painful. That kind of love will cost you an eye. That kind of loss. That kind of love can cost you an arm. That kind of love can cost you your life. Best David said Ben Johnson dash. Yes, Ben Johnson. For those of you old enough, I don't know if you remember, it was in the Olympics. There was a Ben Johnson guy who could run very fast. I think he was disqualified or something. So those are the signs. Those are red flags to look for. People being obsessive, micromanaging you, people who just burst. They're always angry, always angry. The truth of the matter is the abuser actually needs he needs somebody to abuse. That's why he doesn't want you to go. Because when he abuses you, when he hits you, he feels better. Now, I also have a friend who's been in an abusive relationship, actually more than one. And when the person beats them, the man, they beg. They become so nice. They become so romantic. They show you love that you've not known. So it's a cycle. There's a science to it to keep you stuck with them. And there's also such a thing known as Stockholm syndrome, where people who have been kidnapped or violently treated stay with their abusers. Stockholm syndrome. So those women or men suffer it. And then there are people, again, it depends on how you grow up. Like I told you, kids grow up to be adults. If they grow up in an abusive home, they think is okay. So thank you, guys. I really enjoy being here with you. Thank you. I tried to take as many questions as I could. Let me see if I can take one last one here. And this is from Sarah. Sarah is from New Jersey. And Sarah said she is actually, interesting. Sarah is from South Asia, the sub-Indian continent. Sarah is, oh my God, there's so many. Sarah's situation is, Sarah, I think, is going to also come on the show to talk about her situation. When she's comfortable, she's going to do so. Sarah is, she's Indian and she's married to Pakistani man who kept on abusing her. But her own situation was that, now, if you don't know much about Pakistani and Indian, it's really, they're the same people, it's just religion that separated them. So you have people from Pakistan, they're majorly Islamic folks, and Indians are, what are Indians? Oh my God, the word just, Hindi. They're Hindus, yes. So the fact that she married someone outside her religious sect, she's already an outcast, so she has been ostracized. But then it so happened that the man she was married is, I remember Sarah's story, is actually became an abuser when they moved here to the United States. They're in New Jersey, and she said she wants to talk about her story. So Sarah will also be here, but she's been abused and she stayed with him for years. The kids are grown now, and she says she's ready to leave. She's ready because there was no one she could turn to. Everyone she turned to, first of all, she didn't have a support network. I know what it is not to have a support network. I've been in those shoes. Well, you don't have a support network. It's sad. And there was no one to, she's drawing strength now from her children because the children have gone on to marry. So they know and they can appreciate. And now it's like, I just want to cry. I know what it is to feel helpless in a relationship. I know what it is to feel like you're in a room full of people. Imagine you're in a train station or in an airport and you're screaming and no one's hearing you. There's nothing funny about abused people. Thank you all for coming and being a part of this episode from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I'm tearing up here. I love you guys. But please, please, when anyone comes out and they talk about being abused, know that it's really bad, because first and foremost, you're going to be shamed. So in spite of this shame, if you step out, please support that person. Let's stop pretending and sending people to their deaths, because that's what it is. My voice is breaking because reading Sarah's thing really touched me. It's not funny. It's not funny, people. It's not. An abuser doesn't look bad. An abuser could look glamorous. An abuser could look, to all intents and purposes, like they don't have a problem, but they do. And I've been there. So on this note, I'm going to stop here. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you, people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support. For those that are new here, please go ahead, press that subscribe button and the notification bell. And please come back. You're going to be seeing more and more of me. And for those monitoring spirits, it's okay to drop a line here and there, or just give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. I love you. And catch you on the next episode. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.